getting, money can be so tempting. Let's assume, for instance, you started out as a designer, and maybe if you're trying to do a design for somebody, you get paid like 5,000 naira. Maybe 5,000 naira was your maximum charge. Like, I'm just using that as an example. Let's say 5,000 naira was your maximum charge, and somebody just came and was like, "Okay, how much will you do this flyer for me? I'm trying to do a flyer. I could not get a good designer. Let me just give you 20,000 naira. Let me see what you can come up with." And be like, mad, go 20,000 naira for design where they do for 5K. You take that 20,000 naira, you work on that project. What's the next thing that's going to happen in your mind? In your mind, you start sourcing out, you start looking for people that would pay you 20,000 naira and above. Now, you've started focusing on the money. Your focus is now on getting clients. You've left the fact that you are not so good as a designer. You've forgotten the fact that as a designer, like, you are not so good with your design. You just started because somebody paid you 20,000 naira instead of 5,000 naira. You feel like, oh, I have arrived. I'm the new graphic designer they are talking about in town. You open Twitter page, you put Tolani Designs. You open Instagram, you put Prince Designs. You start calling like all of those. I hope there's no Tolani Designs, yo. So you not be hungry. So you just start pushing yourself out there, like start looking for people that will pay you. You've forgotten that there's a learning process. You've forgotten that there's a process that you're supposed to follow. You've forgotten that there's a process you're supposed to follow in order to become better, so that you can even charge. Like, you focus on what you are getting now. You don't focus on what you intend to get later in the future. Now, process is everything. Like, process is everything. I'm not asking you not to collect money. I'm not asking you not to collect. Like, if you no collect money, you fuck up. I'm not asking you not to collect money, but ensure that you don't forget the process. Don't be blinded by money and forget the process. Let me give you a gist of where I'm working now. Let me give you a gist of my. I think I've spoken too much. I've not even said half of everything that I intend saying here, but I'm just gonna leave it that way. Like I promised, I'm not going to take more than an hour. So let me give you a gist of how I got here. So that was last year. I think around last year, November. Around last year, November, I just decided, okay, you know what, bro? I I want to be a freelancer, and at the same time, I want to work for a brand. I don't just want to sit down at home and work for brand, because like I was not. It's not like I was not disciplined, but I wanted to have this feel of how does it feel to work in an organization. Sorry, my throat is somehow. So I told myself I want to feel how it is to work in an organization. I know what I did. I went on Indeed. I went on what's it called, LinkedIn. I created my profile. I revamped it. I started posting. I started reposting people's motivational speech that did not concern me. I was reposting all those things. I started applying for jobs. I don't post much on LinkedIn because I believe that most people lie on LinkedIn. That's, by the way, anyways. That's just a gist for you. So you go and do your research and find out if people lie or not. So I started applying for different jobs. I started applying. I started applying. So one day I was just moved to check my mail. I just checked my mail and I saw that I was invited for an interview. I was like, interview. I checked the brand. I was like, for an interview. My mind was like, I will not go, Jai. Because the funny thing was, like, I saw the mail on a Thursday, and I was supposed to come for the interview on a Friday. And where I was very far. I was not even on the island as I then. I was in the mainland, like deep in the mainland. So I was like, I'm not going to go. But I was like, let me just at least let me acknowledge the fact that they sent me a mail. I now reached out. I reached out via the mail. I was like, I cannot make it tomorrow. That I'm very sorry. That maybe if they can reschedule for me, I would really love to come for the interview some other time. Then I got another mail. They were like, okay, so when will I like to come? I was like, Monday. Monday should work for me. Monday 10 a.m. And they're like, fine, Monday 10 a.m. In my mind, I was like, it's like this is becoming serious. So trust me, as I then, it was not like I was really looking for, like, I was looking for the job. I wanted the job, but at the same time, I was still trying to weigh both of them. I was like, if I start working as a full-time brand designer in a brand, won't it affect my freelance career? I was like, let us just do it. So on that Monday, on the Monday morning, I was supposed to come, but I was like, do I even want to go? Like, I was just feeling reluctant. Then I reached out to my people, I reached out to my babe, I reached out to my guys. They're like, just go, even if even if you're not going to. So it was actually to interview. So they're like, even if you will not do any stuff, like even if you will not eventually take, just go and acknowledge the fact that they even invited you for an interview. So I went for the first interview. We just spoke. It was somehow like it was just somehow. Then when I got back home, I got a mail asking me to come for the second phase of the interview. I was like, okay, this thing is getting serious. So I was like, okay, let me just go. I came for the second phase of the interview. And guess what happened? Guess what happened? Very funny story. Now, this might feel like pride, but I'm driving somewhere. Sorry, is this? Sorry. Okay. So when I came, I was like, like this place is making sense. So I think, okay, let's see. This place is making sense. The AC is chilling. The whole environment is just giving this tech vibe. I was like, okay, let me just put my head. Let's see. IT fintech. Let's just rough everything. So when I gained access in, they like, okay, bro, this is what you have to do. They gave me a test to work on. They gave me a test to work on. And guess what? When I saw the tests, the first thing I did, I laughed. Now, why did I laugh? You know, most of the times when we attend interviews like that, especially interviews that have to do with tests, we are always overwhelmed, we are always shaking and stuff like, can I do this? I hope I will not fuck up. So when I saw the test, I just went through everything. They're like, okay, they gave me like an imaginary stuff like work on this particular brand, so and so brand, design a logo for them, like a quick logo draft, then design social media flyers about two and try to do a little bit of motion. When I said, I just laughed and I brought out my laptop. I opened this, I plugged my charger. I was using one Quack laptop then. So I brought it out and I plugged my charger and I started working on it. I had this confidence in my mind. And aside from the fact that, though I was never expecting myself to be picked as the graphic designer, as the brand designer, I was never expecting, like, it was not like I was expecting that, I would perform better than any other designer that they could have, maybe that I might have interviewed or something. But at that point, I had a kind of reflection. Like, I now started sitting and I started thinking, I was like, man, bro, you self sabi. Like, I was telling myself that you self, you sabi. It was that period I discovered that all this learning I've been doing, everything I have been learning, like everything I've been learning is just playing out now. Like, I now feel like you are testing, imagine testing maybe a college student with ABC. Like, it feels like an insult, right? That's how I felt. I was like, what kind of test is this? Well, I just did my thing. I did the logo. I chose the brand color. I even did a little bit of style guide. I did the social media design. I did a little bit of motion, and I sent it to them. Guess what? You know, normally brands will tell you that, okay, so we'll reach out to you to tell you if you were chosen, or I don't know that English that you use, if you were selected or if you were, I don't know, if you got the job or whatever. So I've not even left. I've not left. I just got the HR just came and she was like, okay, so let's negotiate. Let's talk about your pricing. Like, how much would you like to? I was like, just like that. But even in my mind, I was like, one, it is God. Like, it is God, because I'm one person that I cannot even take God out of anything I'm doing. Even at that point, I was still praying. I was still praying that, oh God, let this work, let this work. Eventually, let this work. So they're like, okay, let's discuss your pay, and let me quickly give you a full gist of how that went. So while I was negotiating, they were like, oh, this is the amount we'll pay you monthly. I was like, it's too low, because personally, as a freelancer, I was earning about two times of the amount they wanted to pay me, of the amount I'm even receiving now. Okay, people are trying to join. Wow. All right, so I was earning two times the amount they offered me, and I was like, can we do so and so amount? They're like, we can't do we cannot do that amount, we can do this amount. But here's what we do. You will not work every day. You get to work 3 times in a week, and you get to pick the days, number of days that you'd come to work. And I was just like, we'll just join everything together. We'll just like put everything together. Let's just do it. So I made a statement. I told them that I said, okay, so I'll go, and when I get home, I'll consider your offer. Is it offer? What's it called? It's like, okay, I'll consider your offer. Then she was like, you consider our offer. We would consider your own application. But my mind was like, if you like, call me. If you like, don't call me. I know I'm good, because that test actually made me realize that, guy, I am good. So what am I saying in other words? There's a process that you have to go through as a creative. There's a process you go through that by the time you'll be faced with a particular kind of test, you eventually discover that this test na joke, na baby joke. It's just a joke because you've gone past that level. But designers are always quick to jump at the money and forgetting the process. Now, if you are wise enough, you can jump at the money while still following the process. But I would advise that you let the process itself be your priority. Like, let the process itself be your priority and not the money. So I've not I've not said everything I wanted to say for this night, but I know that we'll still have several sessions later on. We'll have several sessions. If I'm not able to say this one time or the other, I know a particular guest is going to talk about it. So let me just use the remaining 6 minutes to take questions from us. And I'm also going to go over the questions that were sent to me. All right, so if you have questions, I think some of us have our hands raised up. So let's just take you one after the other. So if you have questions, please just use the hand button, or what's it called? The hand raising or hand raiser button. So let's just take questions very quickly. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have 9 people raising up their hands. So let's start with Precious. Let's start with Precious. Precious, are you there? Okay, I don't think Precious is still here with us. So let's have Mike. Mike Olukayode. Let's have your question. Yeah, good evening. Yeah, I can hear you. Okay. Okay. NDA. Okay. Okay. That's a very wonderful question, and it's a very serious one and tough one as well. So for me, what I'm gonna say is, NDA is NDA, regardless how of whatever is written in the contract, regardless of whatever is written in the agreement. NDA is NDA, and it's actually a non-disclosure. You're not supposed to show them. So what I do most of the times is I just mention, like in my CV, I just mentioned some of these brands. I did not show them the actual work that I did. I did not show them the actual work I did. I just showed them, I just mentioned these brands. So now where it comes in, eventually, if this person sees, let's assume for instance, now I want to employ you, and I ask you that, okay, what brands have you worked for, and can I see some of your designs? And you'd be like, oh, okay, so I have some designs I can show you, but there are some that are that have NDA backings that I will not be able to show you, but I've listed them here. Okay, so I've worked for Wema Banks. I designed the Access Bank application. Like, I'm just giving an example. I didn't design the application. I'm just giving like a scenario. Okay, I designed the Access Bank application as well. Can everybody see hear me? Okay. And you be like, I designed the Access Bank application, and all of those things. The person will first be like, this guy. So they might not show you, like you might not see it on their face. It might not be expressed on their face, but they feel like, so you mean you designed for Access Bank. So what they do most of the time is they want to test you. They want to test you. They want to maybe give like, it happens for designer most of the times. What designers do, what they do for designers is that they just test you. So they go ahead and give you a test that, okay, since you said you've done this, can you do something like this? Then whatever you do will now determine if they would see, if they will agree to the fact that you did all of those things or not. Did you get that? So because NDA is NDA is NDA, and truth be told, most of the times, all these clients or companies, they don't even want to employ people that maybe you've worked on a fictional project. Now I'm talking about product designers, because I know that as a UI UX designer, like you have loads of fictional projects or something that maybe just for portfolio sake. Most of the times they don't want to do all of those things because they want to have experience. They want to see where you're able to put in your user experience knowledge and all of those things. But most of the times, I am telling you this for fact, like most of the times they get to test you. They get to test you, and whatever you are now able to push out, and there's a way you converse with them that will make them know that, okay, indeed, this person have worked on so and so projects. Some might not believe, by the way, but like you'll be able to buy yourself. And there's something about communication. There's something communication does. There's a way you talk that even these people feel like, I feel this guy knows a lot. You know, there are some people that they don't know anything. But there's a way they talk, you feel like, this guy go sabi, this guy, I know this guy go sabi. So do you understand what I'm saying? So NDA is not NDA. Don't disclose it because you don't know where that project can get you from there. So you don't eventually land yourself in problem in the while looking for a job. So it's just best you just mention these companies, mention them, and try as much as possible not to lie, because at the end of the day, they can always look for a way to find out and know if you've worked there or not. That's just companies for you. So I think I don't know if I've answered your question. All right, all right. You're welcome. So who else do I have here? All right. So I have Emeka Udo. Let's take your question, Emeka. Yeah, I can hear you. You're welcome. Yeah, I've done that. I've done that. I've done that. I think, okay, I might not be able to answer this perfectly, and here's why. The company I reached out to, that, oh, I'd like to work for you guys, even though they did not they did not send, like they were not looking for a particular role. Okay, so I reached out to them. I wanted to work with them as a cinematographer because if you know me well, like I do quite a lot. Though I'm known for brand identity design, but um, I do quite a lot. So I reached out to that particular brand. I was like, oh, I think you guys, it's actually an entertainment industry. And I was like, this is an entertainment hub, but you guys are lacking, like, you are not putting out video content and all of those things. And I'm a good cinematographer. I can shoot your content for you if you have cameras and all of this stuff. So I reached out, I shared some of my works that I've done, and I just left it that way. I did not even follow up. So now when it comes to graphics design, I don't think there was ever a time that I reached out to a brand. That I reached out to a brand, but all of those things, I think that is what they call code email and stuff, like sending out code mails to people, just letting them know what you're capable of doing. And I have had people say, now I'm sharing other people's experience because, like I said, when I did it, I did it because I wanted to work as a cinematographer, not as a brand designer. So, but I've heard other people's story how that they sent cold mails. So the truth is, most of this brand eventually they get your mails, they see all of those things. They might not respond, they might not see anything, but the fact is they are seeing it. They see all of those things. So maybe later, when there is an opening, they'll reach out to you. Though it does not happen all the time, but here's the logic. This is what like some of my friends have done. When they reach out via mails and they don't get response, they try to connect with them on LinkedIn. That's why LinkedIn is very important. Like I said, as much as I don't post, like I am on LinkedIn, as much as I'm not just cool with LinkedIn posts. I feel like you have to have something that you type. You have to say story. You have to say a lot of story before you can post on LinkedIn. So I'm not really a good writer and stuff like that. So I try to pull back from it. But what they do is after sending cold mails, they connect with people they connect with people in that organization that they want to work. They repost their content, they repost their stuff. Like maybe let's assume, for instance, I'm working as a brand identity designer in a brand that maybe you want to work as the customer care rep or something. Maybe I post something, you take that particular one, the one that makes sense, you repost, you follow the organization, you follow the manager, and all of those things. So, like when you start engaging with their stuff, you start engaging with them, they feel like, who's this guy that is always engaging on my post, for instance. You can just one day reach out to them and be like, oh, I'm so and so person. I've always loved your content. Sorry, no content. Whether it's content, I don't know what to call it. So I've been following your page for quite some while now, and I discovered that you're doing perfect. You're doing perfectly well. I enjoy this, blah blah blah. You just in all of those LinkedIn English now. You say all of those things, then tell them that okay, I intend working. I actually sent a mail to work as a brand identity designer. I don't know if you have a brand designer, but I'm not sure if there's an opening for that, but I would really love that you keep me in touch. So trust me, the day that they would eventually need, the first person that is coming up, that is popping up on their mind is you. Let's assume you reach out to about five of them on LinkedIn now. When they talk about, okay, now we have an opening for brand designer. If you reach out to Shewa, for instance, the first person that comes up in Shewa mind is you. You feel like, and there's one guy that messaged me on LinkedIn. Oh. Emeka is also somewhere thinking that, there's one Emeka guy that messaged me. I think I should reach out. Four of them are reaching out to you. You already have a ground like that. So by the time you are sending out your stuff, like by the time you are sending out, who are you already have people who have reached out to you. So you'll be like, it will mean like you are getting first-hand information before anybody else. So I don't know if that's explained, if that has answered your question to an extent. Okay. So if you still need more, if you need more, you can always drop messages on the chat. So I have some of my guys there too, and some of these guys that I said they have experiences and stuff like this, they can always answer. I'll try as much as possible to ensure that they also. All right. That's perfect. All right. So let's have. Thank you, Emeka. Let's have Abdul Rashid. Abdul Rashid, are you there? All right. Good evening, Abdul Rashid. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, that is a very perfect question, and I'm going to say congratulations because I've actually been in that space before, especially in this place that I'm working safe. Like I experienced that while when I resumed. Okay, let me just give you a quick story. I'm going to try as much as possible to keep it very short. So when I resumed, I was pushing out designs. So I had to go through the set of designs that they've done in the past, set of designs that they've done in the past, and I went through the set of design that they've done in the past. So I was trying to like ensure that I don't go out of the style guide. Like not style guide because I was never given a style guide. They never had excuse me, they never had a brand style guide or something to follow. So I just did a research on their previous design, and I was trying to do something a little bit better than that. But I discovered that party A was complaining, B was complaining. I was now feeling like, is it that I'm not good? Like, is it that I'm not good or what? So what I did was that I tried to build a rapport with the people that as a new staff, you have people that I don't know how it works in other places because this is like my first organization that I'm working as a full-time designer. So um I created this rapport between myself and these people that review my designs. And I was like, okay, so what do you think the issue is? What do you think I should work on? Do you have a kind of design that you expect me to create that I am not creating? That's what I did. But I did it politely, or else they go sack you. So so I did it politely. I was like, I don't mind if I can get samples of designs that they are looking at having. So because sometimes you get the job doesn't mean that you perform well at the job. It happens to everybody. Even the best of designers, it happens to everybody. So they gave me the kind of designs they're looking at, and they could not even really say, like, I could not even hold on to something and say, okay, this is the kind of design that they want to push out. Like, this is the kind of design that they want me to have. So what I did, what I did was after I created that report, I tried to understand the kind of designs that they are looking at. And when I saw that the kind of designs that they wanted was not like it would kill the whole thing, and I had to bring in my own expertise. So there was a particular time that I had a meeting with my supervisors, and I was like, okay, let's have a conversation regarding this design. So I'm trying as much as possible to ensure that I put out the best designs out there. Like I want to take these designs to another level. I want the brand to grow to another level with good visuals. But as an expert, the truth is you are the expert there now. You are the designer. Your HR is not the designer. The supervisor is not the designer. You are the designer and you know what is best. Except even you yourself are not so sure that it is good. But if you're sure it's so good and you feel like that's the kind of design they need, you need to find a way of convincing them to see that this is the kind of design they ought to push out. Now, what I did after I created this report, I had a meeting with them. I was like, okay, let me see the kind of designs. They could not really give me something tangible. Then I had to bring in my experts and let them know that, okay, you hired me for a reason and you employed me for a reason. And I feel like I excelled during the interview. That is why I'm here today. But I feel that if we must make this brand, if we must make the brand better, our design should be like this, like this, like this. Look at other brands. So what I did was I now took like about five different brands and I show it to them. I was like, look at the style of design. These people are fintechs. We are fintechs. We're a fintech as well. Look at the style of design. You can see that there's a particular style of design that fintechs are supposed to be creating. And that is what I am trying to achieve here. After that, that was the last time I had issues. Not that they became angry and they're like, no, they just left it to me. They feel like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. Communication goes a long way. If you're working in an organization and you do not open your mouth to talk, you just keep having issues, even when you are right. That's just the truth. But you need to position yourself as an expert. Now, it's not like you should not take feedback. Because even this one I'm telling you, it's not like it happened in a week. I worked for a month. In fact, I collected my first salary and I was still having issues with designs. That's just the truth. I was still having issues. I took my time to understand how the organization work, how each of them takes feedback, how they communicate, so that I don't just go and say what will eventually become wahala at the end of the day. Do you get? So I reached out to people too as well. So this is the place of mentorship. I reached out to people. I was like, okay, this is what I'm experiencing at my workplace. What do you think I can do? And they shared their own ideas as well, which is exactly what I did. So they just left me. And since then, I now became like, aside from being the brand designer, I now became like a consultant in that particular field. So when it comes to design, they feel like, no, no, Femi is good. Femi knows, he knows just the best design to do for us. And now everything has changed. Everything has changed. In fact, it got to a particular stage. I had to reach out to the CEO. I was like, okay, sir, I'm trying to work on a brand style guide for the company because I discovered that we don't have a brand style guide. And this is why I am having issues as a designer because there's no guide for me to follow. As imagine all of those grammar, who will listen to all of those things I'm saying? I will not feel like, this guy is savvy. That's just the truth. So position yourself as the expert there really is really important. So as I want to create a style guide, and I'm going to create this style guide in the way I feel it should be. And I was like, go ahead. Then when I created it, we actually used two brand colors. And I decided that okay, these two brand colors is the issue we are having. These two brand colors is the issue we have. Not that those brand colors are not good, but because we stick to those two brand colors, it will not work. So let us introduce secondary colors. I introduced about four colors. Now I brought about 10 different colors. I was like, okay, what do you guys think? Me, I already know the ones I want. I was like, what do you guys think? So it's not like as if I am cutting them out of the process, right? I shared with them and they're like, oh, this color is cool. This one is cool. Let's add this. And I took it like that. I started working on those colors. Like I started using them as secondary colors, like for backgrounds and not as the main brand colors, right? Because we have the primary colors that we are using as our primary brand colors. Then we have the other ones. So I introduced new colors for them, and we started using those colors. And since they started using those colors, trust me, I haven't been designing less. Like I've been doing lesser than I've always been doing before. Funny enough, if I show you these designs that we even had issues on previously, you will know that those designs are even still mad. They are nice designs, but it was not just connecting well with them. And I understand, and I took my time to understand what was wrong there, and I prefer the solution. Now, providing the solution is what makes me an expert. And I can tell you that today, I don't have anybody review my design. And like I said, like there are some of my colleagues that I just with. They be like, Femi, you're the only person that does not have a supervisor. You're the only person that does what he wants because I've positioned myself as an expert and they see me as one. And I am doing what an expert is supposed to do. So I think I've answered your question, Abdurrashid. Abdurrashid. All right, all right. So let me take a few more people. I'm going to try as much as possible to be short. It's like I'm talking too much. Okay, we have. Oh, this is Mrs. Kemi. Mrs. Kemi, are you there? Mrs. Kemi, are you there? All right, all right, all right, ma. So, good evening, ma. Okay, 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 okay. Something. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, so charging is a very big question. And I think after this session, you can just reach out to me so we can discuss it as well, so that you don't shoot yourself at the leg or something, or you don't undercharge or overcharge. But pricing is actually a lot stuff. What I do, okay, let me just drop this cheat here. What I do is that I try to examine my clients. They always tell us not to examine your clients, but trust me, I do it. I examine my clients. There are some people that I can take. Okay, let's assume I want to work on a particular design that I know that okay, normally I charge 120K for this design. Okay, let's say I'm designing this Coca-Cola branding now. I know that okay, I charge 120K for it. There are some people that will reach out to me, and trust me, I will never mention that 120K. I can take it as far as 500. So what I do most of the time, the first thing is I examine my clients. Secondly, I try to understand the gravity of what I am going to be doing for them, because sometimes they can tell you that, okay, what you just do, you just design one flyer, you just flyer, you just put this and this together, just something simple, and it's a lie. You at the end of the day, it's not be something simple. So I at least try to understand and be sure that I know exactly what they want me to do before I charge. So me, I don't charge based on, personally, I don't charge based on, okay, I want to design a flyer, how much does this cost? I don't have a fixed price. I don't have a fixed price. I charge based on the intensity of what I am going to do. You can design one flyer and you spend the whole of today on that flyer. Okay, for example, now you are designing Thank God it's Friday. Let's just assume that you're designing Thank God it's Friday to go on social media, maybe for a fintech or something. Now imagine designing that one flyer for a real estate company that wants to put out, maybe they want to put out a house for sale, 17 million. The outright is this, the location is this, the venue is this, the number is this, the Instagram address is this. This is how you get. Imagine it is still one design, right? It is still one, but which one is now more stressful now? So that's why I don't charge based on what I want, like the number of designs I want to do for you. I charge based on the intensity of the work. But let's discuss this later. All right, you're welcome, ma. All right, let's have Akintomide. Yeah. Good evening, boss. Your voice is scaring me. Huh? I'm good, Anita. Yes, yes. Okay. Okay. Fiverr, Upwork, and the stuff. Okay. Mm. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so for your second question, you're asking that what is my take on that, right? Okay, let me start with the second question. Okay, so for me, now, what I'm saying is the person is actually very right. You know, like I said, different things work for different people. Everybody have what works for them. So for me, if you ask me, I'm not going to ask you to stop applying for jobs. No. But what I'm going to say is what I've said before, that let the process be more important to you than the application of jobs, like than the money. So when I'm saying money now, I mean the jobs and all of these things. Let your learning process be more important. If you are applying for jobs and you are not getting them, don't don't feel bad for not getting jobs, because I've applied for millions of jobs and this is the first one I am getting. That's just the truth. This is the first one I'm getting, because most of those brands don't even want to work with somebody that's they don't want to work with somebody that is just a freelancer. In fact, I think I didn't mention that when I was giving my story. When I came here and they were like, okay, all of those brands you've worked for, did you work full time in the office? I was like, no, I've always been freelancing for them. They're like, we don't like freelancers because you guys don't understand how organizations work. And that's just the truth. freelancers don't understand how it works. When I was still doing full-time freelancing, I wake up very early, I wake up 7. But trust me, I start designing around 10 a.m. And once it is 12 p.m. like this, I don't close. Nothing wey dey fit tell me. I go close the laptop, go and sleep. That's just until when I started working. Before I now understood that okay, it's true. We don't understand what it means to work under an organization, because working on an organization where you need to close 5 p.m. I be like, man, you are stressing my life. You are stressing my life. But now to answer your question, apply for jobs. But let your learning process be much more important than the jobs that you're applying for. That's just what I'm going to say. Like, don't quit learning. Don't stop learning. Just continue learning. Like, continue learning forever. They say we start dying when we stop learning. When we stop learning, that's just the fact. We start dying when we stop learning. So just keep on learning. I've seen some guys that started 2 years ago, and when I see their designs, I'll be like, this guy just came and rubbished my life. Me that I've been designing for 7 years. One boy just woke up 2 years ago and started designing, and his designs are mad, and his designs are, but we would not relent now. It's not like we are competing, but you just keep learning, and it's for your own good. Like I said, like when I was talking about how I got my job here, I was just using to encourage all of us here. I'm using to encourage us. I was so confident of what I can do, because I know that okay, if it is this one you're asking me to do, I can do it perfectly without flopping, because I know it's my field. Aside from being my field, I know what I have done. I know how far I have come. So you cannot just test me with a small design and be like, eventually I even got to know that it was the former designer that set those stuff for me. I was like, maybe you guys should have just reached out to a brand agency to set the test for me, and not you guys setting it by yourself, because I haste everything. Like, I haste everything. So just continue learning. You can keep applying, because why I'm saying you should apply is that you might be lucky enough to get a job whereby while working, because there are some things you will not learn if you are not working, like if you are not doing it. There are some things you will never learn. That's just the truth. Like for me now, I've spoken with so many clients, I've closed so many deals, but it was when I started working here that I discovered what it means to work as a team. So you can see that as good as I am, as good as I am, that people feel, Prince is a good designer. That guy knows how to communicate well. I don't have I don't have team spirit. Like, I don't know how to work with a team. I'm always doing everything on my own. So now I've learned to collaborate with people. I've learned to take feedbacks from, like, I take feedbacks, but I've learned to take feedbacks from my teammates. I've learned to reach out and ask ideas. Okay, what do you think we can do on this? So that aside, I am still learning. Now I'm not learning design, but I'm learning soft skill. If I live here today, if I go somewhere else, I'll not start all over again and start learning how to bond with my team members. I already know how to do that because I got that here already. Do you understand? So what I'm going to say is apply for jobs. Apply as much as you can, but don't stop learning. Now back to your first question. Very funny. I was laughing when you're asking the question. Okay, the truth is, I have an account with Fiverr. I have an account with Upwork. I have never gotten one job like this from both of them. Like one like this, I have never gotten like, I don't know if Samuel is here. There's one of my guy that was even putting me through. It's okay. Samuel is here. Like many times I've reached out, waiting they happen. They don't give me work. Someone is laughing. They don't give me work for this thing now. They don't give me waiting they sub. She na me no do am well. I know write proposal well. I'll reach out to me write proposal. How they take okay, see this one, I want to apply for this. Me do the I don't send the tire. I don't send sote. I don't see anything even up till now. So like I was never consistent again. There are sometimes that for a whole year I can go off. I'll not open. Maybe one day I'll just wake up. Me I even check Upwork. Maybe I can see work where they will give me. I'll apply again. But the competition, like Emeka said, the competition there is mad. So there are some people that are lucky enough to get jobs from them, and they pay them well. Yeah, truth. They pay them well. That's just the truth. But the competition there is crazy. And sometimes it's now make you start doubting yourself, because when I apply on Upwork and I send my works, like there's a portal for portfolio or something, and I upload my works, I'll be like, is this one blind? And you know see design where I don't do. Yet you are still telling me that you are not going for my own job. But yet see people that are running up and down that want my job. So meaning that it was not that I was not good, but Upwork was not just the platform for me. So my brother, what I'm going to say, I'm advising you as a brother. If Upwork no give you work, I beg, come on your leg. Now up they call am Upwork. They no wan carry you go up be that. Come out, go somewhere else. So me, I've had like very bad experience. I've had very bad experience with all of this platform. But yet I know guys that are working and getting jobs like constantly back to back. They pay them in dollars from Upwork and Fiverr. Now, I might not know Fiverr because Fiverr is one stupid platform that I don't even want to talk about. But Upwork is even much more mature and better. So I know people that are even getting paid well from Upwork. But so don't. What I'm going to say is, don't feel bad if you're not getting jobs. Why not? Why not cast your net somewhere else? Maybe your stuff is not on Upwork. And I can tell you that many of the jobs I've gotten, many of the stuff I've gotten, I got them. I got so many referrals, and I got so many jobs from IG. Like, I'm always grateful to God for my IG. I'm grateful to God for my IG. Like, I've gotten so many jobs, and there are some people that will tell you that how are you getting jobs on IG? I don't know. That's just it. So you see that IG is where my own fishes are. That's where me I'm fishing. Okay, someone is asking for my IG. I think someone already asked before, so let me just drop the link. So you see that IG is where me I'm getting my own stuff. Unlike some people that get them from Upwork and the likes of Fiverr and stuff like that. I've gotten so many from IG. I've gotten so many from referrals, and I can say referrals IG. I'll say 50-50. So I've dropped my link. I've dropped the link to my Instagram. So I would say that if it is not working for you, but you still feel like you want to, there are guys that know how to go about this. But personally, for me, I've reached out to about three guys that I know that they are very good on Upwork, and they've tried putting me through, but yet maybe it's my head that cannot carry it new, or it's me that is not serious, or Upwork people don't like me. Like the way I see, I say those people on that Upwork don't love me at all. So I just cast my net somewhere else. There are a lot of places to get opportunity, my brother. That's just it. So I think I've answered you, right? All right. So time is not really on our side. Man, 9:29. My God. Okay. Let me take let me take Mrs. Kemi, I've answered your question. You can drop your hands. Okay, please, if I've answered your question, you can drop your hand. Kenzat, let's have you. It's like you've been waiting for me to call you. You just unmuted your mic straight like that. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, okay. Okay, okay, okay. I think I understand now. Pick pick the best design and use it, Abby. They just want you to design. You've seen my designs, exactly. Exactly. for 120. Okay. Okay. To the glory of God, I just hope that I've not forgotten all the questions that you asked me now. All right, but I'm going to start from the last one. I'm going to start from the last one. So I just saw a message now. It's making me laugh. So talking about the last one, that's where you're talking about like the prices that they like their rate is it rate or maybe the amounts they are offering to pay as a designer. They are ready to pay designers. So this is not to scatter Nigeria or to disrupt everything, but we don't appreciate creatives as much as they do in other countries here in Nigeria. That's just the truth. You can take it or leave it. That's just the fact. They don't appreciate creatives here because we have quite a number of them. And let me say, out of 100%, like out of 100 designers, 50 of them are good. So we have quite a handsome number of good designers. So they feel like if you are not ready for it, somebody else can pick it up. Somebody else can do it. So personally for me, I think I found myself in this particular stuff. What I did personally for me might not work for you, might not work for you though. So first is you yourself. I think you should assess yourself and ask yourself how much am I worth? Like how much am I worth as a designer? Like how much do I deserve to be paid as a designer? So I think if you can answer that question perfectly, it will help you understand how much to collect. Do you know there are some designers that they pay them 120, they pay them 100K and they are fine with it because that is their own level. That's the level that they are at the moment. So it's not looking like a ridiculous price to them. But there are some of us that when you mention those kind of prices, 120, they be like, are you whining me? Are you joking? One thing is even better. I've seen a big brand. I'm not going to mention their name, so if you will not feel bad. I've seen a big brand that put out an opening for a graphic designer and they want to pay 70,000 naira here on the island. A real estate company for that matter, like 70,000 naira for crying out loud. I was like, is it money for peanuts or money for transportation? Because living on the island itself is stress. It's stressful. And I've been ranting on my WhatsApp status that I am running back to the mainland. Like by God's grace. I'm running because living on the island itself is a stress on its own. It's like it take basically all your money. So how much more now getting paid a ridiculous amount? So what I'm going to say is since you know since you know your worth, just stick to your worth. Don't just leave those kind of offers like leave them alone. Since you know that okay, this 120K is too small for you, just leave it. You get people that will pay you even better amounts. There are people, even in this Nigeria, as much as I say we don't appreciate creatives, there are people that still pay well in Nigeria. For instance, where I'm working at the moment, I'm not going to tell you how much I'm being paid, but they pay me well and they are not even stressing my life. Like sometimes I intentionally just sit down in my space. Okay, so this is the studio. This is our office studio. Is either I'm in the studio or I'm in my office upstairs. So sometimes I just basically stay. I just decide to stay in my office because I'm so free. Sometimes I can be so free to the point that I just start working from one department to the other, disturbing the peace of everybody one after the other because they are not stressing my life. Sometimes I just intentionally stay back in my house. So that my boss will not be like, Femi is just going up and down because he's watching me from the camera anyways. So you will not feel like Femi is just going up and down. So what am I saying in other words? If you know that those kind of amounts are not stuff that works best for you, just leave it. Just leave it. Keep applying, be getting their prices, get to know their price. And there are some times too that you cannot be too sure, you cannot be so sure if the price is okay. The price might sound ridiculous, but at this point, I'm just going to say you should trust God leading because what may I do personally? Okay, it might look as if I'm preaching to you guys, but if you take it as if I'm preaching, fine, let it be that way. What I do is that even here where I'm working, like here that I'm working at the moment, when I was into full time freelancing, I was making two times the amount, like two times the amount they are paying me here. But why will I come and settle for something that will take a good amount of my time and will still pay me less? I tried to weigh every other thing that I will get. One, the experience. Like I said, I've never worked in a structured environment. This is my first structured environment. Every other one I've been doing, like I've been freelancing, and I've worked in one that is like a mediocre. It's just they're just joking. So this is my first structured. Like I needed the experience because I feel like okay, who knows what might happen tomorrow? I might get to work in a bigger brand. How do I comport myself? How do I work there? If I don't have all of this experience, and who even want to employ me? Let's say the likes of each brand can I use an example? Okay, let's assume a UK brand wants to employ me and they're like a media agency and it will require me like getting to collaborate and they now ask me, have you worked under any structured environment? And I say no, I've not. Do you think they'll be willing to accept me? Regardless of the fact that they would have seen my design, they know that oh, this guy design is good, but they'll feel like, what if this guy design is good, but he lacks communication skill? So what am I saying in other words? There are sometimes that you have to weigh your options, like you have to weigh what you want to get aside from the money itself. Look at okay, what can I gain from these people? What will I gain working with these people? What will I gain working with these people? Like for me now, structure, one, team collaboration, two, which is very important. It's something that I've learned here. I've learned to communicate with people. I've even learned to put myself out there and talk to people. Yeah, like trainings. There are sometimes that they can be even be opening for like they can be trainings and stuff like that. All of those things are like there are benefits that comes along with some of this brand, and you'll be surprised that even some of this brand they are just paying you. They will pay you peanuts, but what you get from them eventually. I am not saying they are paying me peanuts here though, but to an extent I'll say is not what I expect to get. But I can tell you that I love it here. Like I love it here, regardless of how much they are paying me, because of all the values I'm getting. And most of the times I get to talk to people, but I talk to people in settings like this virtually. We do webinars. But when it comes to physical meetings and stuff, man, trust me, you don't want to see me. I'm always hiding my face. I'm very, very shy, like very shy. But this place has helped me to develop myself that regardless of wherever I find myself, I can talk to anybody, not talking anyhow, but I can hold a conversation with anybody, of which I cannot do normally, except it's on a call. Maybe on a call like this, I can talk, I can share. But when it comes to physical stuff, I'll just be blabbing, I'll just be shaking, and you'll be like, is this Prince Dynamic? Are you sure is actually that guy that I chatted with on Instagram? So just look at what they are offering you and look at what you can get from them. So then if you wait and you feel like okay, I think I've tried weighing both, but the money is not still even is not adding up, then leave it. So I think that's the last question. So what's the second question again? Sorry. Just remind me, just give me the punchline. Like I said, I've forgotten. Okay, yeah, getting overwhelmed with other people's design. Okay, so for me, like I said, everybody have their own style of design. I've seen quite a number of designers that are better than I am. But one thing has always kept me, you cannot design like me. Like that has always been on my mind. Like you cannot design like me. I cannot design like you. There's something about my design that people love. There's something about your design that people love. So as much as if I'm trying to look at everything, I can see that okay, this guy is better. Like I just try as much as well to feel like I don't know if I'm using the right words. Like personally, I just feel like everybody have their own style of design. So I'm not usually overwhelmed with other people's design. So I don't even have to run out of Instagram. And trust me, the funny thing is when I come on Instagram and I see good designs, I save them. Like, ah man, I did save design, eh? There are some people that I'm not even following them. They are following me. I do not follow back. Oh. But I have their design. I don't save them. I don't order them for my own save, my Instagram save that I will always get inspiration from. Like I used to tell people, when it comes to designing, I will not say there's no original design, but it's not like you just woke up and you just felt like, oh, this design is in my head. Let me do it. Somebody have done that design before. That's the truth. Somebody has thought of it that way too, and they have done it. But you just need to put in your own uniqueness, merge all of these things together. Put this. Okay, you saw a design on Ken's arts page. You took it. Oh, you saw Mike's design or Emeka's design. Just okay, and I'm trying to work on a webinar event. I pick from here, pick from here, pick from here, merge together. So why are you even overwhelmed when you can just get enough inspiration from those people instead? There are a lot of young people. Like I think I even made an example. Like I know some guys that started a year ago, 2 years ago, that are even designing better than I am. But one thing we'll see with the experience, they cannot beat my experience. I've been designing for 5 years. I've sailed all the seas of designs, and they just started. So maybe they are still on the Atlantic Ocean. When I've gone to the largest ocean on the earth, I've been through the Pacific. I've gone through all of those things. So even if you can design more than me, you don't have as much experience as I do. There's a particular mentor of mine. He said something when I designed for him the first time I did the design. It was like, guy, this design is so crazy. Like even my white colleagues, they're like, no, this design is so mad. This guy acknowledged the fact that I can design better than he does, but the fact is that this guy is much more experienced than I am. And when this guy is talking, okay, I did a particular design. Let me give you an example so you can understand what I'm saying. I did a particular design. The guy was like, okay, what's the concept behind this design? And when my colleagues, my white colleagues, when they asked me, what do I tell them? So I just did my stuff. I told them, okay, so and so. The guy's like, that's nice, but I don't think I'm really buying into that. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I feel while you were designing this was the concept you had in mind. You did this, you did that to make this happen and this happen. Eventually, I was like, in my mind, I was like, now me can't design this, now me create this design, and this design makes sense too, because the experience, like his experience just came to play. His experience just came to play. I feel like this guy is good. Like I know I can design better, but this guy is good. Like the way he analyzed my design, even myself, I was like, now this my hand. I take old man's design this thing. Way makes sense like that. I was not seeing it in that light before, but because he has this experience and he has conversed with so many people over time. He has written so many blog posts and so many articles on Medium, so he knows how to talk about a particular design. So you cannot be the experience. So what I'm going to say for you, what I'm going to advise is that try as much as possible not to feel overwhelmed. Try as much as possible not to be pressured when you see other people design, but instead just try to use it as an encouragement for yourself. Like pick from it. You can save them. There are designs that you can go over. Don't even mind if the person is one small designer that just started yesterday. There are some designs that I'll see in my mind. I'll be like, if this design was food, I go they vomit, I for they vomit. But it can be the icon that the person used that I'll like, and I'll pick it. And I'll be using that. I go use them sote, you go sha. I go overuse them. So just try as much as possible not to be overwhelmed, but instead try to just all of these designs that you see, don't let it overwhelm you. If not, instead just gather knowledge, like gather your own inspiration, draw inspiration from them. There are some times that you can feel overwhelmed indeed. Like you said, you go off. Yeah, feel free to go off. Go off, but don't let it be like, because if you are the way it feels like you're shying away from them, you're running away from them. That way one will not grow. One will not grow. And you can intentionally challenge yourself. You can intentionally challenge yourself. Trust me, I don't participate in all these online challenges. So for me, I don't know. It does not work for me. I don't participate in challenges like first people, 50 people to do this. Who can do? I don't do challenge. I know one wahala. I don't want to come and be feeling like I don't know how to design. Maybe by the time I design now, they will not say my design does not make sense. They'll go and pick one quack boy that just started yesterday. They'll pick his design over my own. So I don't want wahala. I don't want anything that will make me start thinking about my life and my 7 years of design experience. So I don't do challenges, but I intentionally challenge myself. This guy did this thing. Let me see if I can do it. Let me see if I can do better. So that's just it. I think I've answered your question to an extent, Ken. All right. So what's the first one? Sorry. Okay, so that one now is two sides. Like it's two sided. It's just like a coin. There are some times that they will give you like a project. Like they can give you an entire project. You feel like, whereas the project is just like is the test, not because they even need the design. It's possible, not because they need the design. Especially for people that are into UI UX, you know what I'm talking about. When they are giving you a test, it will be as if you are designing an entire product, like a full product from beginning to the end. It's not like they need your product. They just want to test your skill. Sometimes they just want to test you, and it's actually a test. And some other times, again, they are just trying to scam you. So I cannot really say yes, do it, and I cannot say no. I cannot say no. But try as much as possible to understand, like, instead of just looking at, okay, what you have in front of you. Let's say, for instance, instead of looking at this Coca-Cola, like, instead of just looking at it, try to go around the Coca-Cola, examine it well, check for expiry dates and stuff like that. Instead of just looking at the Coca-Cola itself, check for the expiry date. When you see anything that looks like a red flag to you, run. Just run. That's what I'm going to say. Just run. But sometimes it's an actual test, and some other times those people are just trying to scam you. So just try as much as possible to examine it properly. And the fact you talked about a particular one that you said they've seen your portfolio of work, they've seen all of these things. There are some people just stress your life. Like, some people just want to stress your life. They've seen what you can do. Exactly. You will not be able to do anything because you do not have any legal backings that is backing it that this is your work or something. So that's why I said try to examine it properly and be sure if you are seeing anything that looks like a red flag, that if it looks like a red flag, and go for a reputable brand. Don't just go for one person that just woke up, Mr. Faji Enterprises that just woke up yesterday and tell you I'm looking for a graphic designer that can design brochure, and they just put out. No, do research on the brand itself. See if it's an existing brand. What me I love to do, I prefer working with brand that I can drag online. I'm not wicked though. But I prefer working with people that have good reputation online, people that I can drag their life online. Ah, and me and my guys, we are good at that one. Just drop the name. They go drag tire. This one dey pull leg, this one dey pull hand. We go drag them tire. So I prefer working with brands that it's not people that I'll search for on LinkedIn and I'll not find them. People that I'll check on Instagram, they'll have one post. Or people that will lock their comment section. All of no, 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 not people like that. So that one itself is although I said I look gentle, I'm actually gentle. But when it comes to money, like I do something for you that I'm supposed to charge you. You do not know how to pay me. I'll drag you. No time. Oh. If I had good audience on Twitter, maybe a lot of you have heard about me. I could run drag people tire. But my dragging is on Instagram. And sometimes I don't come out directly to drag. I have people that will do the dragging for me. They will drag you. I'm not a man of violence, but sometimes some people come and meet you. They'll tell you, design this violence for me. They will tell you to design the violence by yourself, and I'll design it and serve them better violence. So I'm not I'm not asking you to be violent, Dusha. Like Thomas said, the love of money is the root of all evil. Okay, you're quoting the scriptures for me. That's nice. It's not actually love of money, it's love for being paid what I worked for. So I don't think that one is a sin. I did not just wake up one day and said, I love money. They did not give me money. Let me drag them. I worked for you. You did not pay me. So I should drag you because it's my sweat. So violence is necessary sometimes. So just try to examine. Not sure. Just try to examine and be sure that there are no red flags. And if you cite any red flags, my brother, run. Oh, just run. So I think I've answered your question, right? I hope we don't have more questions. Okay, we have. You're welcome. We have Victor David. Thank God. Victor David, let's have you. I think that's the last question. Okay. Yeah, okay, that's the last question. Then I have one question in my DM. That will be the last one I'm going to take. So, Victor David, are you with us? Yeah, good evening, Victor. Useful. They start designing. Yeah. That's true. That's true. Okay. So I feel yours is more like you're asking me for a recommendation. Anyways, the first recommendation I can give is my YouTube channel, and I've typed it here. I just sent it now. So I started my YouTube channel when I cannot remember. Somebody can remind me. I cannot remember. I think 2020. Sha. So what I did is I started with the basics. So if you go through my YouTube channel, start from the beginning. Like the very first video I did, I I went from the basics. So just go through it one after the other. And I also have courses if you need my course as well. And my course is so in depth. And I'm telling you that I'm even still creating the course at the moment because I'm trying to create Udemy standard. So, all right. So I have a course as well, and I went through the basics. And so if you're interested, you can use the link in my bio on my IG, or you can reach out to me. You can send me DM and stuff like that. So most of the times, like you said, you're actually right. You're actually right. Some people just go ahead and just jump and tell you, let's replicate this design, and they start replicating without telling you that paint they are using. What does the paint even do? That's true, but not everybody knows that they are doing the wrong thing. Not everybody, so we cannot completely blame them. And different people on YouTube have what they are doing on YouTube. Some people will tell you that okay, what they want to do is manipulation. They stick to manipulation. They don't care if you know how to use brush or if you know how to use magic wand. So they don't care. Just manipulate. They do replication of design. So I think I've answered the question, Victor. Have I? Victor, have I answered your question? I want to be sure before I move on. All right, all right. So, okay, I'm with you. I'm with you. Yep. How to come up with ideas. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I did. I did. Just take your time to go through my video. I don't think I have much videos as we speak. I think I have less than 50 videos. So you can go through all of it. I did. Basically for me, um most of the times I'm just pushing out what I feel people should know. I'm not just the type that will just say, okay, guys, let's design today. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's design. Sometimes I feel like I talk about like pressing topics, pressing conversations that we ought to be having as designers and stuff like that. So I push them out as well. But my YouTube channel will really do you good, like it will do you good. So guys, please subscribe, subscribe and go to my videos. Aside from the fact that I'm looking for subscriber, me, I'm not going to lie. I will not tell you that I don't need you to subscribe. Just watch the video and learn. No, please, I beg, subscribe to my channel. But I'm going to tell you that you get so much value from my YouTube. I can promise you that like you get so much value from my YouTube channel. And I'm not just one designer that'll just come and tell you let's design. It's just on rare occasions that you see me post let us design. Okay, let me show you. Let me show you. So it's not like as if I am just I'm just talking. Let me show you. Let me show you. So this is my channel. So you can see now, like this, the last one I posted, brand identity checklist. So this one now, I didn't even do anything design inside. Okay, I did design here, I did design here, I did design here, I did design here. I actually sketched there, like I grouped them. I created categories. See talk session. I talked about brand identity checklist, how to show up on social media. You will not find this on some pages. They will not tell you all of these things. 5 factors for what? For creating a strong brand identity design, top 4 graphics design skill set that you should have. must have documents. I think this one is one that carries the. Oh, it's not the one. Oh, I was thinking this one has the highest views, oh, but it's not. So now look at this kind of topics now. There are things that graphic designers have been looking to forward to have, like some must have documents for graphic designers, cheap design gadgets that you should have as graphic designer, how less can give you more in your designs, how to create blah 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 blah, and so on and so forth. So my YouTube channel, you can just be surprised. I'll just wake up one day and say, okay, let's talk about social media designs and stuff like that. So I think it's something you should look out for. Let me stop sharing my screen. Sorry, I'm bending my neck. The camera is in front of me, so I'm trying to avoid the camera. So I think I've answered your question. I think I've answered your question. Somebody said something I wanted to address, but I can't find it. Anyways, okay, let me just go to the last question, which I'm going to use to wrap up. Man, this is almost 2 hours. I'm surprised that you guys are still here. Sincerely, I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised that you guys are still here. So let me just take the last question. Someone sent this to my DM before the session. Said, "Okay, hello. My question is, how do you monetize design? I have been designing for 7 years plus now. Man, this one is Agba. I've been designing for 7 years plus now, and I don't seem to have a steady flow of income. Just a couple of jobs once in a blue moon." All right. So I think this is what I'm going to be passing with, and I really appreciate the fact that this is the last question that I'm taking. So personally, for me, like I said, I was not really after. Yeah, David is asking, is my course free? My course is not free. Oh, my course is not free. Oh, please, oh, please, oh. That's how I get money to buy data and stuff. See, I'm sounding. All right, my course is not free, but I'm currently running 75% off my design course, and you find the link in my Instagram bio. Let me look for the link. Let me look for the link while I answer the question. So now, like I said, I'm not really after the money personally. For me, I was busy as much as I was after the money. I was after the growth as well. So I used to tell designers that you don't know when you can blow. That's that's just the truth. I don't know if I'm using the right word, but that's just the truth. You don't know when exactly you can blow. Now, let me give an example of what I mean by saying you don't know when you can blow. Let me quickly paste this link. All right, so this is the. Yeah, did I copy the right link? Sorry, let me be sure I copied the right link. Oh, it looks like I copied the wrong one. Seller.co SOUS. Okay. All right, I'm typing it. Co SO. Someone is trying to join. SOUS. All right, so you can check it out. I already dropped the link. So, um, as I was saying, what was I saying before? So you don't know when you can blow. Like I used to say that thing a lot of times. Now, how many of us know Kagantek? I know that most of us know Kagantek, even if you don't like the guy. Like me, I don't like the guy. I don't know if his brother is here or not. Sorry, if you are Kagantek's brother, I'm very sorry, but I don't like him. And why do I not like him? I don't like the fact that if Kagantek, for instance, now if MTN give Kagantek maybe this Wi-Fi now, they gives him this Wi-Fi. Kagantek will do a review and say, "Oh, this Wi-Fi is nice." By the time Kagantek will have issue with this Wi-Fi tomorrow, he will come and drag them again. So that's one of the reasons why I don't like him. So now, what am I driving at? When Kagantek was on 4,000 followers, when Kagantek was on 4,000 followers on Instagram, I was on 5,000 plus. Now, go and look at Kagantek's page. Look at Kagantek's page and tell me how many followers he has. At least the guy should have, the last time I checked was over 100K or so. And look at events look at launching. Techno will launch. They are calling Kagantek. Kagantek is currently on 195K followers. So what I'm saying in other words, you don't know when you can blow. Don't look at the number of years that you've used. There's a particular guy that I follow on Instagram. This guy is a local hunter. What the guy does is that he kills bushmates, but he has a funny way of saying all of those things. So I followed him because it's always making me laugh, and I comment on his page. The time I followed that guy, that was I think 2 months ago. That was 2 months ago. That guy was on. It was roughly around 500 followers, but he's always posting. He's always consistent, regardless of the fact that I am the only person that used to come and comment on his posts. Trust me, I'm the only person that I'm very sure I'm the only person that's comment on his post. Later, I discovered that this guy is now having engagement on his post too. Guess how many followers this guy has on Instagram now? Within the space of 2 months, this guy is now on 35k followers. 35k, and each of his real videos is having nothing less than 10k views. And me, I have not even hit 10k before. And my Instagram page has been there for a while. Now, last 2 years for my business page, Dynamic Graphics, last 2 years, I was struggling between 4,000 and 5,000 followers on Instagram. Then in the new year, that was last year, when it was New Year. Was it last year? Yeah, last year when it was New Year, I just did, oh, thank you. Welcome to happy. Last year was 2022, are we? Wait, are we 2024? Wait, let me check. Oh, am I lost? Oh, we're in 2023. Last year was 2022. So I just did Happy New Year. You see that Happy New Year post was what blew the account. In the space of 2 months, I grew from 4,000 followers to 13.2k followers within the space of 2 months. And that account has existed since 2018. Struggling between 1,000 followers. I even managed to grow it to 4,000 followers. Like since 2018. Now imagine 2018 and I'm struggling between that, and just one post changed everything. So what am I saying in other words? It's not about how long. I don't know who this person is. It's not about how long you've been designing. Like I said, even myself, I never blew. But if you ask me that, oh Prince, sure you don't blow. If I say yes, if you ask me how long, like when, I'll tell you it's just about a year ago. And I've been designing for 7 years. I'm designing for 7 years. But now I can keep up with this level that I am currently because I have been building myself from time. So it's not like people that will just blow. You just blow and you don't have anything to offer again. It's not like people that will just blow and you don't have anything to offer. Okay, now let's look at our musicians in Nigeria. There are some artists that just came out and they just went like that, boom, all of a sudden. And after a period of time, you will not hear anything about them again. I am not trying to play on anybody. Look at the likes of Mr. Rio. Mr. Rio now, Mr. Rio, Legbegbe. The sound Legbegbe, people were recreating that beat. People were creating the beats. Mr. Rio, they were featuring. Where is Mr. Rio now? How many people is featuring him? But look at people that exactly. That is why they say grow, don't blow. Exactly, that's just it. So just take your time to grow. Follow the process. Just follow the process. You don't know when the appointed time is for you. It's looking like I am preaching. So you don't know when the appointed time is. There are some artists that you just feel like this one no go far now, and yet they no grill. Now, okay, look at Rema now. Rema is just out. I think Rema is 20 years old or 21 years old. Rema is 20 or 21 years old. Now, Rema is one of the people in the Nigerian music industry that is making Nigeria very popular. Do you know that currently Rema is the most popular artist in India? For crying out loud, India of all countries. Can you just imagine how it is? So you don't know when. You don't know when. So it's not about how long. I'm not, for this person, it's not about how long. Just follow the process and involve God, because most of us, we are quick to feel like, okay, when you design, I'm just going to leave you with that. I'm just going to leave you with that. It's not even about all of the things I've said. Like, there are some things, we are doing some things underneath that will not even tell you, that you will not hear us mention. You might not hear us mention it. We are doing some sacrifices. And when I mean sacrifices, I don't mean like I'm cutting people's head and I'm putting it at the T junction. No. Prayers is not by how good you are. There are sometimes that there are some of my people here. I don't want to even start mentioning it. There are some of my people here that I've worked on some projects, some brand identity projects. As good as I am with brand identity, these people have stressed my life. Do you know what I do? I go back while designing and speaking in tongues. You see this design, you go collect this one. There's a particular client that I worked for, like a huge sum of money, and he asked for a refund. Money where I don't spend, where I won't start from. Then I'll see even freelancing. If not, I'll say maybe I'll use my 2 or 3 months salary to cover up. I was still freelancing. The person asked for a refund. I went back on my knees like this. I prayed. And while I was designing this person project, I was speaking in tongues. I was praying that you see this work, refund by shishi, you no go collect, but you go love this job, you go collect them. At the end of the day, the client was like, wow, this job is nice. This job is. Are you telling me that the design is that nice? No, now we don't do something. I'm turning to a preacher already. All right, guys. So let me just leave us with. Let me just leave us with that. So I'm not taking any other question. But if you have questions, if you have any other question, please we can always drop it in my DM. But if I'm not responding fast, please try as much as possible to drop it on the group chat so that I can answer your question and every other person too can answer your question. So I'm just gonna leave you with that. It's not even by how much you design, it's not even by your skills. Sometimes you need to do something, and if you understand what I mean by doing something as a Christian, like hold on to what you believe. Just hold on to what you believe. That's what I'm gonna say. As a Christian, we don't joke with prayers. Like we hold prayers though, because it's not even about how far. It's about how well. There are sometimes that God Himself will just make those things work out. Something that is supposed to take you for 10 years, God will just compress everything and bring it to you in a year. It's possible. It has happened. I've seen people that it has happened to. So it's not like I'm just blabbing. All right. So thank you very much, everybody, for making it to this session. Like, it's really wonderful. I'm surprised that we are here till 10 minutes past 10 from 8. Wow. And I'm really surprised that we are all still here. Like, I'm really surprised. I'm so surprised. And I want to appreciate everybody for making it here. And thank you so much for joining the Designers Connect. And I promise you that we'll be having sessions like this from time to time. I'll try as much as possible not to bug us, so we'll give enough space. We'll give enough space. So, but we'll have guests coming on. So it's not just be my face that you'll be seeing all the time, but we'll have guests too. People that are even bigger than I am, people that have more experience, they can come and share. And I want us to relate as a family on the group chat. I don't want us to have cases whereby we have to log the group chats because some people are fighting and stuff like that. So, but if you have questions, drop it. Connect to people. That's another thing that we need to do as designers. It's not about just posting on Instagram. Connect to people, save people's contacts, reach out to designers like you, save their contacts, be friends with them. I'm sure that 80% of us here now in this group, we've never even reached out and say, okay, let me even just connect to like 4 or 5 designers. Let me get to know their name, what they do. I've gotten many jobs from graphic designers like myself. That was like, Prince, I'm very busy. Can you jump on this project? This is what the clients want to pay. Can you work with it? Yes, I can work with it. And I jump like that. Mrs. Kemi, we'll talk in my DM. We'll talk in my DM. All right, so thank you very much, everybody. I think I've spoken too much this night. Thank you so much for making it here. And peace out. I'm going to see you in another session. Let me play good music for you before I go. So while you're leaving, be listening to good music. Is this still connected? So my music is still loud, but anyways, just enjoy it. All right, guys. So good night.
Live tonight or live and die this way. I remember we were driving in your car. Passing fast, felt like I was drunk. City last day of the bars. Your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder, and I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be somebody. Had a feeling I could be somebody. Had a feeling I could be. My old man got a problem. He lived with a bottle, that's the way it is. Sex, but it's too old for walking. His body's too young to look like his. Mama went off and left him. She wanted more from life than he could give, said someone's got to take care of him. So I quit school, that's what I did. I did. See, you've got a fast car. Is it fast enough so we can fly away? We gotta make a decision. Live tonight or live and die this way. When stop in that airport where you were. Should I give you a call? And let you know that we were driving in your car. Specifies felt like I was drunk. City lights lay up in bars. Your arm felt nice run from my shoulder, and I had a feeling that I belong. I had a feeling I could be somebody. Take me away in your fast car. Please take me away in your fast car. I could be in Pennsylvania. Take me away. You got a fast car. I've got a ticket to anywhere. Maybe we can make a deal. Maybe together we can get somewhere. Any place is better. Start from zero, got nothing to lose. Maybe we'll make something. Me, myself, I got nothing to prove.